Last night we celebrated the 65th anniversary of the hit show Barbie, or the company Barbie, as we met Group B again with Goo, Wasp, Chess and Bluebell, all competing for a spot in the Group B finals 60s night. Of course, we had a special guest performance to open the show with one of our panelists, and just an all-around fantastic episode. And we've got so much to talk about in this week's recap and review of The Masked Singer Season 12. So yes, last night was Barbie night for The Masked Singer, and I have to say, while I'm not a massive fan of Barbie per se, this definitely passed my expectations. I really actually enjoyed this episode. We had the panel all dressed up like Barbie. We had Nick, or the men in black in wearing pink suits. It was just absolutely bonkers, and just a brilliant episode overall. And also, tonight is also the Hell's Kitchen episode 5, where it's Hell's Kitchen, the 5th episode tonight. I'm thinking Magali's most likely be going home. Even though I think she's very sweet, she seems very genuine, but I feel like she's been performing consistently in the challenges, and yeah, I think she's rest of going home. And also, I don't know if anybody's watching Strictly lately, but I've been watching, I've been following along, and also, Chris and I think Chris and Diana are probably my picks to win. Don't you think? Like, there's something about their connection, about just I don't know, their connection. I just think is so wonderful, and so I'm really rooting for Chris and Diana to win Strictly this year. And the voice final is Saturday. We have Story, we have Billy and Lou, we have Deborah and Ava. A pretty interesting line. I was shocked actually that Ace didn't make it through to the final. Actually, I must admit. So we had Ava, Story, Deborah, and Billy and Louie, and yeah, it was yep. So yeah, that's really it. Okay, so that's really it for the recap. So there's not much to go through at the moment. Anyway, let's get into the episode. So it was Barbie night, but of course we had Mr. Ken Jeong himself opening the show with the Ryan Gosling hit "I'm Just Ken." And look, I will say this now. While Ken isn't the best singer on the planet, like he's not like Robin or Rita or Nicole, level, but he actually has a pretty decent singing voice, I must admit. And I think that's because he was on The Masked Singer in South Korea, the same show that Ryan Reynolds was on as that unicorn. And I remember him being pretty decent on there. So, and he tried. He had fun, and that's all that matters. And so it was really fun to see Ken perform a little bit this episode. It was really nice. It was very cool. So yeah, so that is that was Ken doing the opening show. We've got Nick there, and by the way, everybody, Nick's wearing a pink suit. The men in black are wearing pink suits, which is crazy. There's basically pink everywhere, which is glorious. But anyways, let's get into the full recap as we're going to talk about Bluebell. So Bluebell performed "Dance the Night Away," the great Dua Lipa hit, which is a great song in the movie. I feel like she really stepped up this week, in my opinion. Like, her voice is just fantastic, and I feel like her confidence grew a little bit this week. I really like, compared to the previous performance, I really really liked it. So yeah, it was a fantastic performance. To kick off the night, and so yeah, I really enjoyed the performance tonight. So yeah. So my guess for Bluebell is still the same as it was last week. It's 100% Natalie Imbruglia, aka Panda, from the Masked Singer series for UK. Like, it's honest, it's pretty obvious at this rate that's her. Like, I've literally listened to the voice so many times, and it's just screaming at me that it's Natalie, and like, yeah, it's so her. Anyways, some of the clues that I picked up here, by the way, I didn't get all the clues because most of them I definitely struggled with, but I've got a few on my Word document here. So she mentioned that her career had stalled for a while, which kind of matches up with Natalie's bio, as after her albums basically sales kind of slipped, she actually returned to acting, and she was in a very popular soap opera called Neighbours. And if you don't know what Neighbours is, basically, I think we had it in the UK. I need to double check. Neighbours TV show, yeah. So if you don't, you could say it's like Coronation Street or Emmerdale or something like that. So Neighbours is an Australian television soap opera which first aired in 1985. It's basically Australia. It's got loads of they've had Axel Whitehead on there. They've had Natalie. They've had Kylie there. We had Kylie there. Who else we had? We had Ryan Maloney. We had Alan Fletcher. We've had who else? We've had Ashley Brewer. Kyra Jones. We've had James Manson. We've had David. Okay, celebrity. If we need this, we've had. We had Matt Lucas. We have David Williams. We've had Paula Abdul. We've had Jamie Lawson. The show has had quite a few big celebrities in there, I must admit. But yeah, it's definitely Natalie Imbruglia for sure. It's Natalie. I can't say anything else other than Natalie. I will say, I do think she's most likely going home next week or the following week, because the World Series, it can sometimes be a bit of a kerfuffle sometimes. But yeah, but I feel like I know I'm certain they're going to have the bell rang for next episode. And to be honest with you, I feel like if it were to be for Blue Belt, it would feel a bit it would feel a bit it would feel a bit kind of not scripted. I can't even think of the word. Because me and Ed Reacts were talking about this as well, and it would feel like written. It would feel like I don't know. But I can't say again the bell. I'm sorry. I know Natalie is a great singer, and I'm really happy that she's on the US version, but I don't see any chance of her getting the bell. Next up, we have to talk about Goo, and Goo performed Miss Independent by Neo, who is the Wasps ambassador, and I don't think I was not expecting him to sing that song. But my God, he absolutely killed it. Like, his voice, the runs, the riffs he was doing was just, whew! I mean, it was just absolutely fabulous. And I think, in terms of my prediction for the bell, it has to be for him. It has to be. Like, his voice is just absolutely insane. Anyways, my guess for Goo, I will say, the panel did mention Johnny Gill and CeeLo Green, which were my first impressions of Goo. Before when I first heard, before I got the clues going. But I'm sticking with my guess here, being Kobe Turner from the LA Rams. I'm also quite confident that's him. And I have to say, the fact that we have, I said this last week, but the fact we get so many talented athletes on the show, it's just crazy, like how ridiculously good they are. Like Keenan Allen, like Jordan Mailata, we had Vic Oladipo, Barry Zito, Chloe Kim, all these like sports people that we get on the show. It's just ridiculous at how good they are. And I think Kobe, for me, is now up there as one of the best athletes in terms of singing we've had on the show. And no one would expect this talent from him as well, which is crazy. Anyway, the clues. So now he did speak about finding the love of his life and getting engaged. Well, Kobe and his longtime girlfriend Alyssa is actually getting married next year. So that's a very sweet connection there. Wish him all the best of luck. And now we saw Goo, and so with Goo, we saw he was in front of a church wearing a red robe with a cross on it. Now, combined those three elements made me think of the nickname of the Wake Forest football team, the Demon Deacons. And so yeah, and he was on that team. Kobe was on that team. So I know, look, but these are pretty short clues because but still, I'm almost certain at this rate it's Kobe. It's Kobe. Like, okay. By the way, I will say in terms of who I think will get the bell, for me it's got to be Goo. Like, and also I will mention this. I was when I was watching this. When I was watching it live, not live, but you know, um, I remember Rita mentioned again that he thinks that he is one of the best singers that she's ever heard in her life, and she was basically fanning over him, and for a split second in my head I was like, Rita, you please, for the love of God, don't do what you did with Cisco last season and just start serenading him, because if you remember last season, I've mentioned this many times in my videos that when Cisco was on last season as the Lizard, Rita was basically fanning over him, and in his elimination episode, she basically sang a love song to him. It was one of his songs from Drew. It was one of his songs that she sang, and I I loved it. I'm sorry. It was actually really really cool that happened. I still can't go the fact that actually happened. It was just so cool. But no, back on this. In terms of who I think will get the bell, it's got to be good, and I think Rita saving him would be the most likely candidate, if that makes sense. But yeah, I think I think he's gonna. Yeah, I think he's definitely gonna be making it through via the bell. I think he's gonna get saved for sure. Okay, now we're gonna talk about Chess Piece now, who was the one eliminated tonight. The episode of this week. And so I was surprisingly correct. I actually got it correct, even though I wasn't too confident on her. And it was revealed to be Laverne Cox, American actress, model, and part of the transgender community. Which is absolutely awesome. And I have to say, she did bloody well. I have to say, I think our group B, she wasn't the strongest, but I definitely felt the emotions she gave in her performance. And yeah, it was really good. I really, really enjoyed her on this season, And I will say, like, I remember when I first heard the voice, and I'll be honest here. I will be brutally honest. I heard a tiny, tiny bit of Macy Gray. I heard a bit of Macy Gray, but I knew it wasn't her because like she already did the show back in season 10. And it's like with when Eiffel Tower when it was Tiffany Darwish. Even though I guessed Gabrielle for some reason, but she already did the show. But I couldn't get Gabrielle in my head. Like I couldn't get that out her name out of my head, and I didn't get Eiffel Tower correct, by the way. Just for the record, I literally was like, even if they have Gabrielle for the second bloody time as a different costume, I'm gonna stick with my guess. Even if I'm wrong, I'm sticking with it. But you know what? Okay, this might sound like a bit of a stretch, but I would love it if a former contestant or celebrity, so let's say Jason Manford or something, came on like the upcoming series as a new character, completely disguising their voice, or maybe like be like a guest performer, and then they take it off, and it was then the whole time like they would have known. I don't know, but it's just something that's really I just had on my mind just now. Do you think I wonder if this would be a good thing for the UK to do? So have a former contestant in a different costume, completely disguise their voice, and then they would never know it was the original person. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. So yeah, So that was Laverne Cox. Thank you very much for doing the show. And last but not least, we have to talk about Wasp, because man, that performance that he gave of Skyscraper by Demi Lovato has got to be one of the best performances one of the best performances I think I've ever seen on this show. Like, it was just not only so moving, but the fact he did such an upbeat number last week, and this week he basically stripped everything down, and he did a ballad. Like, it honestly just left me breathless. Like, I was just in awe of this performance. It was absolutely stunning. Like, I just have to say, if he doesn't win Group B, I'm gonna be literally floored. Like, it was just so good. Like, oh, I seriously can't get over how amazing that performance was. It was just heaven, literal heaven. But yeah. As I've said, I can go on forever talking about how much I love that performance from Wasp last night. But anyways, my guess for Wasp is the same. It's 100% Mario. Like, it's so clear as day at this rate. It's Mario. Now I again. I mean, this week I wasn't able to get too much clues. This week, I did get only one clue, from him, and it was when he was speaking about his about when he spoke about his childhood, where when his dad was not around. Well, his father, who was a gospel singer named Daryl Barrett Senior. Let me just type that name. Daryl. What's his name? Daryl Barrett Senior. Barrett. Oh, there's no D there. I didn't put D there. Yeah, so his dad was a gospel singer, and he wasn't really a big presence in Mario's like few years growing up. I don't think he, you know, so I don't know if his dad was like left him or something, or I don't know, but yeah, it was just really emotional. The performance was just so emotional. It's one of those performances that just make you stop and take a breath at just how amazing it is. And like, at this rate, like, I'll be brutally honest here. You know, I a couple of weeks ago when Buffaloes won Group A, I was literally like, here are your season 12 winners. Like, there's no way anybody's going to beat Boyz II Men, and I generally mean that because Boyz II Men are literally one of the best R&B groups on the planet. But this, honestly, I think Wasp has given them some massive competition here. Like, to see a final between him versus, like, literally, I'm visualizing this now. To see a final between Wasp and Buffaloes, oh my days, that would be such an epic final. Like, and to be honest with you, I don't think anyone could beat. I don't. I mean, for me, the best finale the show's ever had was last season's with Vanessa Hudgens and Scott Porter. Literally, in my eyes, two of the best singers to grace the show. That. I mean, there's so many amazing singers, but I mean, those two were genuinely, in my eyes, some of the best singers we've had on the show. And the fact it came down to those two in literally in my eyes, one of the best seasons the Masked Singer's ever had, and having one of its best final twos. If we could have a Wasp versus Buffaloes final two, that could equally match that. So I'm really having my fingers crossed now that we get that. So yeah, that's really it for this week's recap and review of Barbie Nights. What were your thoughts on the episode? Let me know in the comments below. So next week, I'm not too sure about in terms of the episode because, as you know, the World Series might interfere with the show, and look, I'm hoping that I'm very, very hoping, I'm very much hoping at this rate that the World Series doesn't interfere in a way. I mean, if I know, like last year, like back in season 10, when we were announced that we got confirmation that one tonight wasn't going to take place on that week because of the World Series. That we got some confirmation, so we knew that. because because I remember back in season 8 when they had where they had that rain when they had the rain delay, um where it basically, and they never aired the episode that day, and then it got aired in Canada and then got spoiled, and it was just an absolute mess. I remember being like literally like pissed off about what happened then. So yeah, regardless, I'm very looking forward to hopefully next week, if not the week after. If we don't get an episode next week, I'll try to think of something else regarding to the Masked Singer, because you know what the show can be like sometimes, especially with the World Series going on at the moment. But you know, hopefully, you know, and this is what I love about the spring version when it starts in March. You don't get a delayed episode. It's constantly, it's literally week after week after week. No World Series, no nothing, just a constant weekly, daily basis every single time. Just, I loved it. I love it. Like, and I know the World Series is not their fault, but sometimes it can, you know, especially for someone who's such a huge fan of the show, to not get an episode, it can be a bit heartbreaking sometimes. But yeah, that's so. Anyways, what are your predictions for Group B? Who do you think is going to win Group B, and who do you think is going to get the bell? Now, for me, I'm thinking Wasp is who I think is going to get the bell, and I think it's going to, and I think Goo will get the bell. So I think Wasp will win Group B, and I think Goo will get the bell. That we get saved by the ding dong keep it on bell. But you let me know in the comments below. Are you guys? It's and also it's 60s night, which I'm super looking forward to. Because for me the 60s are one of the best one of the best generations ever. And I'm so excited for that. I hope we get some bang songs. But anyways, thank you very much. I want to say thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe with post notifications turned on. I'd really appreciate that. But thank you so much for watching this recap. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next time for the next Masked Singer Season 12 recap and review. See you guys next time.